Was that the same night that you ate pie off the floor or something when you got home?
Different night. I dropped. I was like, why am I single? Legit. Mum, I couldn't meet anyone at the pub today. She's like, maybe it's this.
Try. Try before you die.
I've never met someone that checks themselves out so much.
I think I'm insecure, Angel. I'm insecure. You're either a lib or you're an Eliza. And by God, you're a lib.
In what way? Like, what?
This is what way. You unpack your bag the minute we get home from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I live out of my suitcase for months until the next trip, essentially.
Literally, we just went away for the weekend and Eliza was like, oh, wonderful. It'll only take me 2 seconds because my bag's still packed from Adelaide, which was about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't stand her. I just want everything clear. Because you know what? If your spaces are clean and clear, then your mind is clean and clear. That's why you're so cluster effy.
Yeah, it's not how I live. It's just certain things you just can't change. Anyway, are you a lib or are you an Eliza? Do you unpack the minute you get back or do you live out of your suitcases for months and then just, when you have to go on another trip, just grab that suitcase already packed?
Gross.
And you're on your way.
And you have spiders crawling through it and cockroaches and stuff.
I do worry about rodents and arachnids.
What's an arachnid?
Is an arachnid a spider?
Isn't a spider just a spider, an insect?
Isn't it arachnophobia the fear of spiders?
I don't know.
I'm
Rich
always
is
ready
Googling
for
it for
arachnids
us.
to
Rich,
come
our
out of
producer, is Googling
piles
it.
of things in my room.
Arachnid. What in God's name is that?
Al-
An arachnid is a type of arthropod, specifically a member of the class. Oh, I mean, honestly, I can't even understand any of these
Spiders,
words.
scorpions. Jeez.
Interesting.
She's
Righto.
smart.
Mm-hmm. For someone who hates rodents, it's
I
interesting
know.
that you just hoard all your shit and.
Who's got time to sort? Right, there's something I've been noticing more than ever, Lib, in our suburb and surrounding suburbs. And it's to do with the night socialising that goes on. Do you know what I'm alluding to here?
I feel like I know exactly what you're talking about, and it is piles of vomit, isn't it?
There are vomit puddles everywhere in our suburb.
It's running
and
rife.
surrounding suburbs.
It is running rife.
And it's never been like that before. Spotting vomit puddles now for me is like how our baby sister spots random hubcaps on the side on like footpaths and in gutters and stuff.
That's very strange, but she takes photos of all the hubcaps.
And
You don't
sends
take
it to Dad.
You don't take photos of spew.
Sure do. Do you want to see them?
You do not. That is disgusting. I believe you. I don't need photo evidence. That's
I've been
so
taking
fair.
photos of them everywhere I go. So our little gooby baby sister takes photos of random loose hubcaps and sends them to Dad and Dad's mate, and they have this weird little hubcap club. Who wants to be in my vomit puddle club?
I certainly do not.
Anyway, I'm noticing them in gutters, down alleys, on footpaths, sprayed up walls, half in, half out of bins. And that gear sticks around.
Yes.
On surfaces for ages.
Yeah.
Like all those puddles that I photograph are still as poignant and outlined as ever.
And I tell you how you know that it's vomit in comparison to if someone's just spilt, you know,
An ice cream.
I don't know, a curry or something like that. Is because you can see carrot and corn
Yeah.
chunks in it.
yeah. There's chunks.
Yeah, that liquidy sort of chunky appearance and how it really just splatters out everywhere. You can tell by the stench when it's a fresho
Oh my God. Sorry, everyone.
and the taste from when I lick it off the ground and try it.
to see what they've eaten for dinner. Wowee. But yeah, also it's the spatter motion.
It's the spatter.
You just know. Like an ice cream just plops down quite solidly, but it's the outreach of spatter.
And you wonder why they say under your shoes are so unhygienic because people are just stepping through that gear, stepping in dog shit. That's some gross
Spit globbies.
Spit globbies.
The spit globbies.
The phlegm globbies on the ground.
Globules are everywhere. But, yeah, I don't know why at the moment there's more puke puddles than ever.
Because I thought that people were more in like a health conscious space at the moment.
Where'd you get that from?
Well, because everyone's into wellness and ice baths and saunas and all that gear. I thought people were steering away from the drinking. There's so many people going sober now.
Maybe, but there are still the Radgies, aren't there?
Yeah, the Radgies.
And also, what I'm baffled about is it's not peak summer. It's not, party vibes, nice, sunny, get your guns out, buns out, let's hit the pub.
But you know what? We're assuming that it's from people that are drunk. It might just be that people are unwell. There's a lot of gastro going around at the moment.
Bit of gastro going
bit of food
around.
Poisoning.
Yeah.
Could be anything like that. Could be morning sickness.
Oh, my God, Liv, you're so
yeah,
right.
there could be multiple reasons why people are chundering.
We live in a very social area. Lots of pubs and bars and live music venues and restaurants. So there's always bound to be some chunder. But and particularly we live close to Chapel Street. There's a lot of nightclubs and you just always know that you're going to have to jump over a puddle when you venture down that way.
And when my gym is down that way, and when I drive down there at 5 o'clock in the morning sometimes, and there's people walking out of Revies, there's bound to be some chunder at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Is it called Revies or is
Revolver?
it called
Revs, whatever.
Revs,
Revies,
Thanks, Rich.
Same shit.
Rich has been to Revs, haven't you?
Yeah, plenty of time. Still does.
Yeah, he came straight from there to here. Have you ever walked out of a nightclub of a weekend or whatever day and it's, say, 8 a.m.
Daylight. Yeah,
or
God,
6 a.m. and people are going for runs? And you're like,
yeah.
Oh, I've never felt like a bigger trash bag in my entire life.
Truly not a worse feeling in the world.
Have you really done that?
Oh, back when I was really loose. I don't think you quite remember.
I don't.
When I was like 17, 18, I was loose as shit. You just, I think, have put it out of your brain because you experienced that later on in life.
I'm still experiencing
My God, I was loosey magoosey.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a couple of stories in this podcast to tell as well,
doll?
yeah.
You and I don't like vomit. I mean, no one loves vomit. They're not like, vomit. But we...
Yeah, they're not like, yummy. Can I have a drink
let
of
me
it?
catch it for you. But I will run in the absolute opposite direction if someone says they feel sick. If I was in a vehicle with someone and they said, I think I'm going to be sick, I would be screaming at the driver, please, please, and I'd be shoving their head in the other direction. I just want to die. I've always been extremely phobic of public sickness. I've touched on it before. My biggest fear when I had my anxiety and depression was that I was going to embarrass myself while I was out. And the idea of pooping myself or chundering on myself, it was just gave me hives and would send me into panic attacks. So I would carry around vomit bags and things just in case because I just couldn't deal with the idea of someone seeing me being sick.
But I still have that fear. The fear of vomiting for me in public is so horrific. The fear of vomiting just in general is horrific. Even seeing those photos made me want to vomit. I'm a sympathy vomiter. If I have someone vomit near me, I will probably vomit. But also, I wonder what people are thinking when they see you take your phone out taking pictures of splattered vomit on the ground.
No,
That's
I do it when
weird.
no one else is around because it is extremely odd and I do want to delete them. It does make me feel sick.
Can we also just think about, essentially now our footpaths are just layers of dried, crusty, caked on vomit because people just vomit and that doesn't get cleaned. Like you said, it just... It unless
up.
it rains and the vomit is still fresh, that gear ain't going anywhere.
We need street cleaners. I feel like in some countries they do street cleaners.
Well, on that,
yeah.
do people just not vomit in Japan? Because I feel like they're or like in the street because their streets are so clean.
Have you been to Japan, doll?
No, but recently.
Doll.
No, but they're renowned for being really clean.
What about Singapore?
And recently I watched this guy on TikTok put on this pair of clean white socks and walk around Japan.
No.
He went train stations, shopping centres, alleyways, etc., and then looked at the bottom of his socks at the end of the day and literally it was the tiniest layer of brown sort of dusty dirt. So their streets are so clean.
Someone told me that there aren't many bins in Japan.
Yes.
That you collect
But
your own rubbish and put it somewhere. So
and
why is it so
can't,
clean?
And also you can't eat on the streets.
As you're walking or something.
But so, yeah, I'm baffled by that because if that was in Australia and that man put his socks on and walked around the streets, he'd just
They'd
have
be drenched
chunks
in
of
filth.
corn and carrot on the
Yeah,
bottom of his
and
shoes.
poops and
Yeah,
globbies.
poops and phlegm.
And chewies. So I think is it in Singapore? Don't quote me on this, but you go to
can't-
jail if you. I
yeah.
don't know. Yeah,
Why
we've
can't
got
we
some nods.
implement some of these laws here?
You go to jail if you spit your chewy out. And we're going to Japan later in the year.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I'm going to ask them if people vomit in their streets.
Yeah, let's ask some questions
Yeah.
about that, Lib.
Yeah.
Get your, what's that app where you learn languages? Duolingo. And get to the
Yes.
stage where you can ask about vomit puddles.
Okay.
Did you ever chunder, or have you ever chundered when out in public?
Yes.
Have you?
I have a couple of chunder stories.
Really?
Yes. One of which you don't know about.
Oh, my God.
I'm really starting to get comfortable telling these sort of
Mm.
loose stories. I had that one about the sleepover last week. And once again, back when I could not be more straighty 180 right now. I don't like drinking. I never go
snore.
out. I'm a real boring bit of a loser.
Yep.
Back when I was 17, 18, 19, I was Lucy Magoosey. I would go out Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, back it up. So back when I was 18, 19 and a bit of a drinker, I was at a pub in Adelaide and I'd had a few drinks. But
Was it the Havy? The
No,
Havelock?
it was the Cremorne Hotel.
Oh,
was
yeah,
called.
I remember that.
I wasn't very drunk, but I'd had a few drinks and someone made me do a shot and it was a vile shot. I don't know, tequila or something. Anyway, had the shot and then I was like, I'm going to vomit. And I did a little just a tiny little vomit, just a bit of a like regurge vomit, like underneath the bar at the hotel. And then I was so mortified that I just ran away and left and went home. I didn't even tell anyone. I didn't clean it up. I didn't ask them to clean it up.
Was
nothing.
it busy? Like, could people see what
It was really
going
busy,
on?
but I don't think anyone really saw. And it was just like a tiny little chunder.
Nah. You're better than that.
Yeah, but once again, that was back in my youth when I was fun and outgoing.
Yeah, I could take a little shot chunder from you.
And then the only other time that I remember, which is not really in public, but remember I got car sick on the Great Ocean Road when I'd eaten baked beans and eggs for breakfast and we were on the windy roads heading to Melbourne from Adelaide and I just filled cups and cups and cups with my vomit.
I do recall that because a lot of it went on me.
It ain't a good combination when it's
And
baked
you've never
beans.
been able to eat baked beans since?
No, the texture and it just it's triggering, brings back too many memories.
I was a real goody two-shoes growing up. I was always the one that was trying to help my drunk friends.
Yeah, I did that a lot too, to be fair.
You know, sort of holding their hair back, mostly just sort of pushing them in bushes.
Yeah.
Just to make sure they weren't chundering on people. But have you ever vomited in a cab?
Never. I've never vomited in a cab, in a Uber, in anything. You have?
Yeah, once.
Let's tell that story, shall we?
This was in uni. I was a late bloomer.
Wowee.
And do you know what? It wasn't even a rager night. I'd been to a long dinner and we were having cocktails and we were mixing drinks. It's the mixing drinks that gets you. And I'd also had a beautiful seafood linguine. And then I met some other friends after the dinner and had a couple more and I was just full to the brim of drink and prawn and linguine. And I probably even had a milkshake or something.
Mussels, oysters.
Anyway, I was in the cab and it just popped out onto
But
my lap.
And yeah, you vomited all over, literally. It's like you just went like this. And it just
dribbled
went
down
all
me.
over yourself. And then she got home because I remember Mum and I were up. You just walked in the door and Mum was like, what have you done?
And she had to help clean me up and stuff.
That's
That's
disgusting.
probably my lowest
Was that
moment.
the same night that you ate pie off the floor or something when you got
Different
home?
night. Different night. Mum made me a pie and I dropped it on the floor and ate it off the floor. I was like, why am I single? Legit. Mum, I couldn't meet anyone at the pub today. She's like, maybe it's this.
That's no word of a lie. You were like,
You were there.
in this spiral meltdown about why you were single, and we were all like,
Because you
have
eat pies
looked
off
at
the floor,
yourself?
you absolute piece of trash.
What do you reckon it is though about vomit that is so gross? For me, it's the smell. It's the sound.
The sound,
it's
the splat,
smell,
the
splat of it hitting the floor. Because I'm pretty good with needles, broken bones, blood. That stuff doesn't faze me.
I love pus.
But for some reason, it's vomit that is just so. I can't even stand seeing it on TV. You know, on those
Yeah.
paramedic shows and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
covering my eyes.
But do you know what it is? I don't even like really the texture or look of soup. Or if you blended something in a blender, that's also off-putting. It's just it's the liquidy, thick liquid. It's
my
just
God.
gross.
Did you see, I must add, quite recently, Tracey Morgan, the actor, did you read about this or see it?
No, who's that?
Tracey Morgan, he's an actor. He was sitting front row at a New York Knicks game and I've seen the vision of it, I don't know, it's that weird thing of, a car crash you don't want to watch, but then you sort of force yourself to, even though it makes you kind of sick.
Can't look away.
He just sits in his seat, front row of the Knicks, and just vomits onto the floor. And like vomits and vomits and vomits and vomits. And then you see the vision of people coming over and cleaning it up and then walking him out with a bag. And it turned out he had food poisoning. But I'm like, I feel like you feel when vomit is coming along, particularly if you have food poisoning.
And also, I'd be running out. You would be
You'd
absolutely
be running out. He literally just sat there and just let it all come out. And the people next to him were like,
was he side of court? So
they
he
had
was
to stop
chundering on
the game.
court.
They had to stop the basketball game. Yeah.
That is my worst nightmare.
Isn't that vile?
When was the last time you vomited in general?
I genuinely cannot remember the last time I vomited. I even reckon maybe it was that time at the bar.
Wow. Yeah, you're not a chunderer. I only chunder when I've eaten too much.
God.
I know
if
this
that
is-
doesn't say everything about who you are.
And I really eat too much a lot. So my greatest memory of this is when I worked in radio as a producer and we were based at the Victoria Markets. Is that what they're called? Queen Vic Markets in Melbourne. And we had this little booth set up and every single trader brought over platters of food. And I was like, yummy, donut, yummy, sausages, yummy, pineapple. And then I was sitting
Pineapple?
there, like
That's bizarre.
fresh fruit and stuff.
Yeah, right.
And then I was like, oh, golly gosh, I feel like the food's about to come out my mouth again. So I walked to the toilets and I just stood there and I literally just bent over the toilet and opened my mouth and it came out like a waterfall.
Ooh, so did you not even really feel sick?
I didn't even have to sort of like, it just was a tap. I turned on a tap. I just felt uncomfortable. And I knew I needed to empty my guts.
That's so disgusting.
It's cooked. But that's happened to me a few times.
Have
if
a
I'm
bit
honest.
of willpower, sis.
Like I don't even need to sort of like put my fingers down my throat or anything.
Speaking
It
of that,
literally
though,
just it's like burping it up.
Have you ever made yourself sick? Because I have tried when I've been hungover on numerous occasions, and because I fear vomit so much, I just cannot do it. You know how sometimes when you're hungover, you just know that that's going to make you feel better just getting it out?
Yeah, but to be honest, I just literally can open my mouth over the bathroom and it can come out.
Even if you're hungover or something?
Probably. If I feel sick or if I'm full, it just comes out.
I swear to God,
What a
for me,
gift.
the only time I can cope with vomit is if I've had some drinks. Like holding my friend's hair and stuff. If I am sober, I'm not going anywhere near that. Even... to be honest, even if I had kids, I reckon I'd be like, I'm so sorry. I can't
I'm
deal
going to
with
prop
you.
my kid up like against a bed or something and just put a bucket under them.
Yeah.
Can you do that, do you reckon, Rich, who's a dad of 3 boys?
Yeah.
Doesn't work. They
Okay.
always miss the bucket.
Okay. Just sit them in the bath. Can you sit them in the bath?
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Oh,
And it's
no.
always in copious amounts and it stinks.
Ooh. And also, particularly as kids, they often probably don't tell you that they're about to vomit or they don't know.
They don't have language yet.
No, not if they're younger. They just go quiet and then it comes out everywhere.
Oh, no, thanks.
Can I tell you one gross story?
Is it too gross?
It's about a friend of mine, her ex-partner. He had this weird thing about how he didn't like vomiting in the toilet. This is so rank. So he always got a towel.
No.
And he would vomit into the towel and then put the towel
In the washing machine. No, that's disgraceful.
And also, if you vomit in the toilet, at least you can flush it away. If it's in the towel, you're seeing it right there in the that's weird.
And then who's using that washing machine
Yeah,
afterwards?
that's right, with
Not
chunks in
me. I reckon baby chunder's all right when it's just milky.
yeah. Milky sort of phlegmy gear.
Yeah.
Anything beyond, I don't know how old, maybe 3, that gets a bit.
I don't reckon you don't think you'd get morning sickness. I mean, you can't tell if that stuff's coming. You may have the worst morning sickness of all time,
Maybe.
like Kate Middleton style.
But I'll tell you why I don't think I'm going to get it. Because I feel like I have the strongest willpower when it comes to psychologically kicking myself not to vomit. I'm not even joking.
No.
I've been on the verge and I've meditated and I've talked myself into not vomiting, so I just don't
No.
think I'm ever going to vomit.
If you have gastro or food poisoning, that gear is
No, I don't
coming
reckon.
up.
I don't reckon.
You used to get nervous, chunders.
I used to, so particularly, I don't know why I felt so nervous for swimming carnivals back in the day. I was quite a good swimmer and I always used to get chosen to compete in swimming carnivals. And for some reason, it would make me so nervous that I used to, work myself up to the point of vomiting.
Yeah, that's anxiety. Hey, Mum would regurge with us when she was pregnant.
Oh, that
Like, because it would
was
sit on her stomach and
rank.
just push up the little bit of
And
voms.
like all the time.
all the time.
Ew.
Yeah, it was not cool.
That is
Because
so
our
rank.
baby sister's 11 years younger, so we were very aware of what was going on during that pregnancy. Has anyone ever vomited on you?
Never. I don't think I've ever had someone vomit on me.
Scarlett, our baby sister, would vomit a lot and she would scream in bed for attention and just
Yeah.
make herself
To
vomit.
vomit.
So someone would come.
I mean, I've had a bit of spray back when I've been like holding back someone's hair or something like that, but not a full vomit. Have you had a full vomit?
I remember when I was visiting my friend Jen in Melbourne, and this was sort of
When you were in
uni
Adelaide?
days when she was based in Melbourne, but I was in Adelaide, and I came and visited her in Melbourne, and she took me to a pub, and it was just Radgy Central, and we decided we were going to leave, and as we walked out, someone was being escorted out and vomited all down the side of me and my handbag and stuff. I know, death on my shoes.
Ooh, that is
No.
actual death.
I know. I'll quickly tell a story about our mum.
Yeah.
You'll remember this. She said that she was sitting in the front of a car being driven home one day and she'd been out to dinner and they'd had garlic prawns and milkshakes. I don't know whether that was a
bizarre.
thing back in the day in Adelaide.
Also, where are you having dinner that you get garlic prawns and milkshakes?
I know, bizarre. And then... and then she had a friend behind her who just started vomiting and she had really long, beautiful hair and the vomit just caught all through her hair.
Oh,
Yuck.
that's one of Mum's favourite
Favourite
stories to tell, to be
It
honest.
is. We aren't socialising much in general at the moment unless it's work related. But I actually think some of it is just scared of vomit now.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to be anywhere near where anyone has a high risk of vomit.
Yeah. We're also scared of having our routines thrown out. We're getting a bit pre-block where we were
Sorry,
spinsters.
as if that's your reason. That's my reason. You don't have any sort of routine whatsoever.
It's true.
Carry
on.
That's all. But no, I genuinely have zero desire to go to a club, a bar. I'm trying to get some routine back in life and focus on my health after parking that for a little while. But I like going to bed early. My dream is having dinner at 5:30, going to bed at 7:30,
God.
waking up at 4 a.m,
Oh
going
my
to the
God.
gym. So I just prefer not to have any late nights. I don't like drinking. I don't like people. I don't like
No.
socialising. I
You don't
really don't
Liv
like
doesn't
leaving
like
the house.
joy.
You guys should all be so thankful that I'm even here recording this podcast, to be fair, because that's the extent of which I'm socialising at the minute.
That you don't date. But this is, I worry about us because this is
I know.
pre-block year happening
know.
where we were spinsters and then we went on the block and our lives opened up for the better.
I know.
So I'm just going to flag that with you, okay?
But also, if we were seen at a club, that is so trage.
Well, how old is too old to hit up the clubs? I Googled it and Google said, there isn't a specific age considered too old to go clubbing. Surveys suggest 31 as the average age people stop clubbing and 37 as the age when it's seen as tragic. These are just observations and opinions, not rules.
Well, I've still got a couple of years in me then, but you're going to be seen
I'm
as
done and
despo.
Good thing I look so young. I can pretend I'm 28. That's what I'm going to start running with.
They'll look at your ID and kick you out straight away.
I don't want to be a toolie. Remember how you're called a toolie if you go to schoolies when
Yeah.
you're old? I don't want to be a nightclub toolie.
I mean, I feel like the only reason I would go out these days is to meet someone, and I do not want to be dating someone that's going to a club.
So you're not going out. I
No.
guess that's it.
No.
Oh, what joy. There needs to be chunder cleaners, as I said. Let's introduce that. Where's the Lord Mayor of Melbourne? Or you need security cameras that track people down and make them come back and clean their chunder the next day.
Yeah, actually.
Or big fines for street indecency. Because right now it's honestly like hopscotch.
Yeah,
of
it's-
puke puddles in our suburb.
It's like that COVID time where everyone's wearing masks, where
Yeah.
everyone's giving you a wide berth. It's
Yeah.
like that. You're giving the chunder piles a wide berth.
Yeah.
Can you
Anyway, come and live in our suburb, everyone.
But also, can you please send us your puke stories? Please don't
Yes.
send any photos because I will
No.
vomit. But I'd like to hear if you've spewed somewhere interesting or I
yeah,
don't
like
know,
being in a
somewhere-
lecture and caught it in your hands or something. Oh, death. Let's try the line, Lib.
Okay.
Sorry,
do it.
everyone. That was god awful. Sometimes you just need to vent about the puke puddles. Go.
Oh, sorry. I'm
Try the
introing
line.
Try the Line.
Yep.
Here we go. Play some audio, a line or quote from a reality TV show, and then we have to guess the next line. So this one is audio from Judge Judy. What an icon. Judge Judith Scheinlin. I
Oh
think
my God,
her
is she
name
still alive?
She's still alive. She's still doing the show.
No.
So let's play the audio.
With how many different women do you have these 10 children?
Um,
How many?
about 4.
About 4? What do you mean
Yeah.
about 4? What does that mean, about 4?
About 4 of them, including your daughter.
What are you talking about?
It was just a joke, man.
Let me explain something to you, fresh mouth.
Oh, God, you just don't bring that sort of gear on
Oh,
Judge Judith Scheinlin, do you?
Never challenge Judith Scheinlin.
Wow, So let me explain something to you, fresh mouth.
Okay.
And then what does she say?
You won't be laughing when I throw your dumb ass in jail.
That's good. Mine is, I would suggest you try and keep your dick in your pants from now on. What accent was that?
Yeah, I didn't get that accent right
Very
either.
strange. Very, very strange.
Okay, let's listen to it.
I'm the only one who makes jokes.
I've never heard Judge Judith Scheinlin make a
Like a
joke,
joke.
by
She
the
never
way.
has.
No.
That she's gaslighting us
She's
there.
what a gaslighter.
Judith.
Today Vomits fired us up. What is next? Well, we're fired up about something that's playing out in the media at the moment. We have hit peak ick and we are ready to vent. Get ready to wrap your laughing gear around that on Thursday, guys.
But in the meantime, follow Try Before You Die wherever you get your podcasts and follow us on the gram, Eliza and Liberty. We will see you on Thursday.
Chunder safely, y'all.
Try before you die.